Hey, what's up, guys? We're coming back at you with Fire and Fury as we play against Black Roses again. Remember what happened last time? We completely destroyed them. Let's see if it can happen again here this time, shall we? We're just going to skip through all of this early stuff as usual, and let's go straight here to the match and see what's going on. We have been on a winning streak, as you already know. We've only tied one match this season. The others we have won, and they are pretty poor. They're in last place. And so I think that we probably will have this one in the bag. They have lost 5 in a row, and this is a team that's completely falling apart. So if you were looking for a really close match, you probably have come to the wrong place. We've got 40 points. They only have 8 after 14 matches played between the two teams. The question for us now as we look forward is how many more games is it going to be before we clinch the league? And you can see here that we have a pretty a larger home crowd than we're used to, so we're getting some attention. And we'll see what happens there. Moy back there to get that over to Walter Assam. Assam with it, lumps this one forward for Afa. They're on the left side, and he's going to cross it right there for Maele. Awful cross. Maele does what he can with it, but there's not too much he could do with that, and it is back with them for a goal kick. And so we wait and see what happens. This is knocked back up and forward. Lankilde goes over back to get that over to Malani, who finds Maele behind the defense. And he has a little bit of trouble with it, ends up blasting a shot that goes straight into the defender, and it's going to be out for a corner. Not exactly all that well played by Maele, but we're used to that. Afa with the corner, looking for Walter Assam, can't find him. It goes back to Malani, over to Lankilde, over to Moy, to Lankilde, back to Malani. And it's popped up for Maele, who was offside anyway. It doesn't really matter. And so that will be the end of that. We're going to go ahead and skip this replay because there's really nothing to see. We just saw it, and it wasn't much. And so we're still looking for the first goal here at this match. Walter Assam goes back and gets that one with the best, like we know he can do. However, his pass is intercepted, and we're just not able to get back into that pass. But here it is with Corey Norty, and he lumps this one forward for Maele, despite the fact that he was being challenged by a player at the same time. Pretty impressive by Corey Norty, showing what he's capable of. And here's another forward pass for Maele. We've been seeing that all game long. Maele really should have gotten the rebound at that one after that one was blocked by by their keeper, and I'm not quite sure what happened to him there. But whatever, we'll go ahead and go with that. I mean, right here, I'm not sure how he's not able to react fast enough, but so it is. We need to teach him how to actually round the keeper. I think that's one of his traits, which makes him so good. He has the ability to do that, but he needs to learn how to do it effectively. There's another lumping forward pass from Maele, goes back to Malani, and there's Corey Norty. I can see him right there, but instead Malani's going to try to do it by himself, ends up with Afa over to Lankilde. Lankilde with it, back over to Walter Assam. Walter Assam, and then he'll just take it back to Moy. We reset. It goes up to Afa. He can't quite get onto it. And we're having some problems here trying to get something going on offense. This is a little bit unusual. I was expecting that we were going to be able to do a little bit better than this. So so far, so good, I suppose. And it goes back there in midfield, and it ends up being a bunch of nothing. And that was the weirdest free kick I think I've ever seen. Did that hit off of our own player? I mean, there's so many strange things that happen when you play this game at this level with these amateur teams. So I don't know about that. Ryan Coulter goes back and gets that over to Loke. Loke back down to Lankilde. Lankilde finds Afa with this forward pass. Afa with the ball now, and he lumps this one forward, looking for Malani, whose header is unfortunately out of range and off target. And so that's going to be the end of that. And we have a corner coming up here now. Let's see what happens with this one. And the shot by the end by Black Roses ends up going above and beyond everything. And so that will cause us to be reset. We're 20 minutes in this match. We haven't had any goals yet. And they seem to have had as many good chances as we have. And I'm a little bit concerned about this. The ball moves forward a little bit, and there is a shot there by Tiata, I think was his name, and nothing really happening there. Atu back here with this goal kick, and that misses everybody. That was awful. Moy, Atu's goal kicks have been horrible. Over to Lankilde, down to Afa. Afa looks forward, finds Malani, and it's a good pass. That forces a good deflection by the defender, and it'll be out here for a corner. So let's see what we can do with this corner, see if we can get a goal here. Very, very quiet here in the early going. Afa knocks this one forward, and still nothing happening. So no bad matches by anybody so far, but we just can't seem to maintain that momentum. Corey Norty with it down to Afa again. Afa forward finds Maele, and Maele, I don't know what that was, but he spins around a little bit. It looks like he was waiting for other guys to come forward. And instead, he sort of knocks the ball in the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure if he's feeling a little bit nervous or what's going on. It's a little bit unusual for him. Usually we see him working a little bit better than that. This goes back over there to Atu, the goaltender, who's able to grab it. And he grabs the ball, knocks it forward over there for Maele, who tries to head it forward. And that was, again, sort of bizarre decision-making on his part. Ryan Coulter there with it over to Lonkilde, and he lumps this one forward now for Maele, who's got this one-on-one again. And the shot is deflected, ends up hitting off of the crossbar. And so it's still 0-0. Milani with this down to Afa. Afa looks forward for Maele and can't find him again. So we're seeing some poor luck, poor decision-making, a lot of weird stuff happening here so far in this match. This has been rather unusual for us. We haven't been playing quite this strangely in most of our matches so far. Maele has it, but I'm pretty sure he's offside. No call coming yet. It goes back to Milani, who looks like he thought they were offside too, because that wasn't much of a shot. He sort of passes that one to the keeper. I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. And we're in trouble here. It's still tied 0-0. And if they get a hold of anything, then we really have some problems. Maele with the ball now. And there's Milani out in front of him, but he's offside. Maele tries to pass, is deflected, and he tries a shot, and it's blocked. So that was probably the first real shot on goal we've had all game, though the first one that looked like it had a chance of going in. There is the corner, and it goes over to Maele, and he can't quite get it. We're going to, I think, have another one here in a second. It looks like I got a guy coming over here in a second, so I'm going to pause this for now. I'll be right back with you. All right, that was pretty quick. Yeah, it's the roofers who came without a ladder that was tall enough for the roof. So go figure that one out. Here is Afa with the corner, and he goes back, and he flips the ball forward. And this with Ryan Coulter, who gets a head onto it, but then it goes into nothing, and it is going to be a goal kick for Black Roses. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's happened to this team. We looked so good in the last 14 matches. And we come into this one and we can't seem to win anything. Nordy almost gets himself sent off. That was a really cynical foul, and there was no call, which is ridiculous. I mean, he ran over and pushed the guy. Walter Asan with it, and he passes it forward for Maele over to Afa. Afa looks forward, finds Milani. Milani takes a shot and it's deflected again out for another corner. We've had corner after corner after corner, and I think they've had a number of corners too, and we need to get some sort of real shot on goal. Afa lumps this one forward, and nobody can get onto it. It's back with Moe, and that's going to be the end of that highlight. And so much for that. We'll take another look at this here. So it was Afa forward with this pass. I didn't know if it was from Milani or Maele. Milani ended up taking it, and had a good idea for a shot, but their defender was just strong enough and fast enough to get back onto it. Here is Maele with the free kick, and is lumped forward into a bunch of nothing. And this will be brought back, and this isn't looking so good for us, as I said before. I mean, everybody is well rested. Everybody should be up for this match, and we look like we're just sort of falling apart. Walter Assam goes back and grabs that one over to Moy, over to Lonkilde. Lonkilde lumps this one forward again for Afa, and Afa is in front of everybody, and he has a shot. How did he miss that? So the goalkeeper didn't even budge, and his shot was clearly on target. It just went over everything. I'm not quite sure what this was by Black Roses, but there's been a lot of that here in this league. A lot of guys sort of lumping the ball forward to places where there are simply no players. So, yeah, go figure that out. Milani with this now down to Afa, and he's got Maele. Does he see him? Does he see him? There he does. And how did you miss that? That was probably the most blatant out of all the misses that we've seen so far. I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy stuff so far in this match, but I mean, look at this. He's wide open and there's nothing but net in front of him, and he just can't get his foot onto the ball. That was ridiculous. That looks a little bit more like a 15-year-old who doesn't really know what he's doing. Here is the goal kick. It knocks backward for Nordy. And we're going to go back and get it. There's Walter Asan with over to Lonkilde. Lumps this one forward looking for Maele, and he has it, and then he just takes a shot first time instead of bringing it forward a little bit. That one's also exploded on, and it's over everybody's head. So still 0-0 for us. Unusual for us to be scoreless this long into the match. Milani with it, and passes it down to Afa over to Maele. Maele does it again, takes another one of these long shots from range. I'm wondering if he shouldn't come out here. Of course, we don't have our Korean friend anymore because I got rid of him after his poor performances. Milani now, back to Moy. Moy knocks it forward to Loke. Over to Milani. Milani passes it forward to Maele, and there's a header that's at least close to the goal. But again, it can't quite get it through. Maybe Maele is feeling the pressure since he's the leading goal scorer in this league. I don't know. Maybe everybody's triple, quadruple teaming him, but even then, there have been a number of chances he's had here where he's been wide open and just hasn't been able to get it done. So here we are finally at halftime. That was a long yet eventful first half. And everybody actually looks like they're having a pretty good match, except for this guy, Loke, back in the back. I guess he deserved his yellow card. Still, I'm not seeing quite enough problems to make me want to do anything about it. I mean, everybody, for the most part, is playing well, except I guess Milani's not fully playing that well. We could put Loke in. I think, yeah, let's see what we could do. I think we're going to do this, and we're going to put Loke in like that. We'll have Corey Nordy play forward a little bit more and see what we can do here in the second half. That might help a little bit, having Nordy a little bit closer to Maele since they have their partnership together. Moy lumps this one forward looking for Maele and can't quite find him, and so it ends up still being scoreless, and we'll see what happens. Maele here with this free kick, and he finds Corey Nordy. No, he doesn't. Just over his head a little bit, hit just a little bit too heavily. And we're going to wait and see what happens here as Black Roses move it forward. And Moy is able to get back on it. A Loke over to Coulter. Coulter lumps this forward for nobody. Maele finally gets to it. Afa finds it. Afa forward over to Nordy, and that is blocked. That's a really good block by their keeper. Maele just not able to get onto that one. He scored a number of goals from rebounds off of saves like that, and this was really well done. This is why we probably need to have Nordy play a little bit further forward. And yeah, that one was just a little bit over Maele's head, but it's a really, really good thought. That looks a lot better than most of what we saw there in the first half. Corey Nordy is out with an injury for the moment, and that's a bit troublesome. I hope that it's not too serious. We'll see what happens, and they have the extra player, but we are able to defend. Loke over to Maele, down to Afa. Afa with it, quadruple teamed. Afa still with it, and he lumps it forward for Maele, whose header somehow goes wide. I don't understand how he missed that one. So that's, 2 or 3 shots so far in this match where I'm like, normally he would score that one. Point blank range, he still can't quite get it over. And I don't know, maybe the Maele era is doomed and it's going to come to an end here sometime soon. I don't know. Corey Nordy is having a pretty bad game, and yeah, he just can't continue. And now what do? We can't put Milani back in. We're going to have to put Poya Famuana back on. And this is an unfamiliar position for him, but we're going to do it. And we will play the match. And here's Ryan Coulter with it. Lumps it forward looking for Maele. Can't quite get it to him. It's Afa who also can't get the head onto it. And this one ends up being lumped back to nobody. Moy with it. And I don't know. I mean, if we wind up with a draw here, is it going to be embarrassing? This is the worst team in the league. Lumped forward again for Maele. And I mean, I don't know who he's passing it to. There's nobody there. Nobody there. I mean, I guess he's trying to pull it down. But that was a pretty poor job of pulling it down. I mean, it's almost like he's losing the confidence in himself, almost like he feels like he can't do it. Maele then grabs it, and instead of taking it down, he shoots it the first time he sees the ball. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some player instruction that's on or something. I tend to think it's just poor decision-making. Milani passed that one back to Loke, whose shot was over everybody's head. And so on it goes. On the struggle continues. This is lumped backwards towards Moy. We have dominated possession in this match, I'll tell you. We are dominating XG. We just can't get a goal. Loke with it. Lumps it forward for Famuana, who's way out of position. And his shot is just over. I thought that was going to be the first goal. Instead, his shot is just over. Unfortunately, Ryan Coulter with this over to Loke. Loke lumps this one forward for Milani, and his lumping shot is also just over the goal. Again, it's pretty ridiculous that we're not scoring anything. So they are able to maintain possession, and they lump it forward. Ryan Coulter accidentally blocks that one with his back heel as he had his back turned. It's a pass over to Afa. Afa with it over to Maele, and just can't quite get that one past the keeper. It's a shame. So we see this in the replay coming up right after Ryan Coulter made that absolutely miraculous save. With his back heel. He didn't even know what was going on. It basically hit the back of his shin. He had no idea the ball was even there. Loke passes this forward for Famuana, and it goes all the way back to Atu, over to Ryan Coulter. Ryan Coulter with it, nobody even close to him, passes it forward for anybody, Maele, I suppose, and it ends up being out with their goaltender, and he takes a shot at this, and we will not win this one. And I was about to say we're in trouble, but fortunately they took a shot from long range that ended up being totally nothing, as you can see here. The defense was completely beaten here, and we were really, really in trouble, and Atu was out of position, but didn't really amount to much. Atu's playing like as a midfielder. So, yeah, it's been pretty interesting with this kid in goal. Loke with it now, and a little bit of a burst of speed, head of steam over to Lonkilde now, over looking for Maele, and he finds Milani instead, whose shot is just wide. So we've seen all of our stars trying to get something done here. Nobody can quite get one over, though. And this is lumped forward here from Moy down to Loke. Loke over and looking for Maele, and that is going to be a foul. That will be a red card. It's a second yellow, and is going to be a free kick from just outside the penalty area, and Maele's shot is saved, unfortunately for us. He's able to go over there and get it before it goes out for touch, and ends up with Walter Assam here in the back, and he lumps this forward for Maele, who I think is onside, and he just stops anyway. Now, he was offside. They called it, and so it doesn't really matter that he stopped, and we need to see something a little bit more than this, guys. This is ridiculous. So they're down to 10 men after that really, really cynical foul. Ryan Coulter with it now, and Coulter passes it down to Loke over looking for Maele. Can't quite find him. It's back with Walter Assam, who looks for Maele again. And, ooh, man, I thought that wouldn't have crossed the line. And instead, that ends up being a really, really good save by the Black Roses goaltender. Back here with Loke, and Loke is going to start this up again over to the other Loke on the right side. He's had a pretty poor match, and he lumps this one forward for nobody. Winds up with the ball again, though, and there's a cross for Maele, and he can't quite get onto it. Over to Afa. Afa with it, and his shot just went wide, and that's another one of those where I thought it went in, at least from my angle over here. And they have it back for a goal kick, and we have about 10 minutes left to try to get the first goal. Milani with it now. Milani moves it up, moves it forward. And there's a pass over to Loke, who ends up with it, and his shot is just completely off. So I think we need to make some kind of change here, because this is getting pretty ridiculous. Let's take a quick look and see what we are looking at here. Maele actually having a fairly good match, but he's looking kind of tired. Do we put Kaleopa on? I think we do, and we kind of have to keep him on. I guess we could look to take this guy off for a final move. Let's do that and see what we can do. So we're going to take Maele, the star striker, off here for the last 10 minutes. Kaleopa has the ball, and his shot is just saved, and that's back out for a corner. So let's see what we can do. Kaleopa, no, it's Afa here taking the corner. He steps back and is going to fire here in a second. And a lot of tension as we wait, and he does fire it up for Ryan Coulter, whose header is just off target, and it is back with our goalkeeper for a free kick, for a goal kick, and it ends up back with Atu. So we are running out of time. We need to do something quickly. Atu lumps this one forward, looking for, I'm not sure who he's looking for. That was a pretty bad decision on his part. There wasn't anybody even close. Ends up back here in the back with Viali. I can't give any shouts. I can shout from here at my computer screen. Maybe that'll do something. Kaleopa with it. And it just hits the top crossbar. Oh, man. We don't even get a replay of that one. I mean, I guess it wasn't close enough or something. But, man, that's just a heartbreaker. That's a heartbreaker. I thought for sure that was going to finally be the first one to get across. Ends up back with Ryan Coulter, who knocks it forward, and it comes right back to him. Knocks it forward again, over from Milani. Milani with it, finds Famuana, and he scores the first goal of the match. 90 minutes into this one against the worst team in the league. They're down to 10 men, and we finally score. And, of course, who is it? It's not Kaleopa. It's this guy, Famuana, who is in the wrong position, and he still is able to score a goal. Man, oh, man. We've seen a lot in this match so far. We've had a man injured. We've seen a really poor performance from our top striker. He looks good in terms of XG, but just can't score goals. Loke with it now. Let's see if we can score another one. Lonkilde with it over to Kaleopa, down to Walter Assam. Walter Assam lumps this one forward for Afa, over to Famuana, who's excited, and so he blasts that one out of the stadium. That was a little bit ridiculous. This was an excellent build-up by us, by the way. This looked really good right up until this part right here. Famuana needs to learn that you just pass the ball into the net. You don't have to kill it. You don't have to, knock it at the person sitting behind the goal. And it's back in for a throw. Lonkilde ends up with it over to Walter Assam. Walter with it, waits, passes over to Famuana, who is hoping to add to his goal-scoring tally. And, I mean, I think from here on out, he's going to take every shot he gets. Wasn't necessarily the best decision there, but it's all right. Long killed it with it. Now, guys, we're up 1-0. We don't have to score another goal, but Kaleopa wants it and takes a shot and forces a really good save. I tell you, their keeper's been awesome here today, and their defense has been very good as well. And this has been a pretty impressive performance by Black Roses, who are not a good team by any stretch of the imagination. Lumped up forward for Ryan Coulter, but he can't quite get onto it. Ends up all the way back with Milani. That's going to be the end of that highlight. I guess we can watch a little bit here of this highlight. Yeah, this is Kaleopa saying that he wants 1-2, and that was good use of your head by their keeper. Man, he had that head right in the right place. And is this going to tie it? No, Atu is able to grab it. 1 minute to go, and let's hope that we can get through this minute without conceding. That's all I care about. This is ridiculous by Atu. There's no need to do that. I don't know. I should probably change his instructions and make sure that he's actually rolling it out and we're playing out of defense instead of just lumping the ball forward like that. It works sometimes with Milani, but it hasn't worked that much. Loke with it now. Loke passes it over to Milani, and he just waits and stands with the ball, and this will give them a chance at a counterattack. And it's 2-on-1 for them, and that is right over. And I mean, the game just about froze right there as that was shot for their substitution. And I was really worried that was going to be a goal. Atu with it, and he's going to sit back and wait for time to expire. We're at 96.5 minutes, and his pass goes straight to their attackers. So fortunately for us, the final whistle finally comes and saves us. 4.61 XG, 19 shots on target, 45 shots overall, 50% of the possession, which whatever. But we dominated this match from morning till night, and we ended up with a 1-0 win. That was a lot closer than it should have been. I hope that Corey Nordy's okay, and I hope that you have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.